translate. Question, translate. Answer, translate. Okay. We have another?
Chicho, pues primero que nada, felicidades por tu hat-trick. Fue un partido complicado en un principio, pero se reajustó un poco el sistema. Tú estuviste muy activo también en muchas situaciones del partido, más allá de los goles. En esta nueva faceta que te ha puesto el entrenador, sales mucho del área, buscas recuperar, ir hacia atrás. ¿Qué tan cómodo te sientes jugando con ese formato?
Bueno, gracias.
Congratulations on the 3 goals. So in this new position and tactics that the coaches put you in, you're having to drop in a lot more and get more involved. How comfortable do you feel doing that?
Bueno, gracias por las felicidades y pienso que vengo a aportar, ya sea en la posición que me ponga el profe. Sigo instrucciones de lo que debo hacer y acato las normas que el profe me pide y consejos para poder no salirme tanto del área en los momentos decisivos que conllevan el partido, pero es una faceta que ya la había tenido en mi carrera, jugar ahí y bueno, también me siento cómodo, espero poder aportar. Hoy gracias a Dios me tocó aportar con goles, pero en lo que puedo aportar, vengo a aportar mi granito de arena.
Thank you for the congratulations. So he's just here to do whatever the coach asks of him. He obviously takes advice for the decisive moments in the box on how he can get better. But this isn't new for him, that he's played this position in his career before, and that he's just here to support in any way he can. And thank God that he was able to help with goals today. But he just looks to bounce off that.
Bueno, un jugador y sobre todo un delantero siempre busca anotar goles. Cuando cae el primero, me imagino que buscabas el segundo, pero ya cuando cae el segundo, un hat-trick creo que es una palabra más fuerte para un delantero, es algo que siempre busca. ¿Cómo te sentías tú después de haber anotado el segundo, que fue vía penal, tratando de no solamente buscar el hat-trick para ti, sino que adelantar al equipo y asegurar la victoria?
Bueno.
Obviously, as a forward, you're always looking to score goals. So after the first one, you obviously want to get the second one, and after the second one being a PK, putting your team in front and obviously looking for a hat trick. How did it feel to get that second goal?
Bueno, estoy muy contento más que todo por el cambio de chip que tuvo el equipo, que salió al segundo tiempo con un carácter diferente, con esas ganas de salir a buscar el partido. El profe Pablo nos lo dijo, no nos desesperemos, el primer gol va a llegar y cuando llegue el primer gol seguramente iremos en busca del segundo, y fue lo que hicimos. Gracias a Dios se pudo anotar el primero, el segundo fue positivo porque alzó a los fans nos alzaron a nosotros y fuimos en busca del tercero. Entonces estoy muy contento, agradecido con mi familia también que me apoya bastante.
He's obviously very proud of the team, that they came out into the second half with a lot of character and coming out to look for the game. Pablo told him not to get frustrated by being down, that the first goal would come. And then after the first goal did come, that the fans lifted him up to keep trying to find that second goal. Overall, just happy with the win.
Chicho, buenas noches, con felicitaciones. En los primeros 2 minutos cae el gol de San Luis. Creo que un balde de agua fría, ¿verdad?, para todo el equipo. Como capitán, y ¿cómo animas a los jugadores para seguir, como tú dices, con esa actitud para salir a ganar en el segundo tiempo?
You guys conceded in the second minute with the St. Louis goal. That obviously feels like a bucket of water thrown on you. As a captain, how did you kind of rally around the team and help them stay focused?
Bueno, como tú lo dijiste, fue un balde de agua fría para nosotros que nos caiga un gol tan rápido, porque durante la semana trabajamos muy bien, durante la semana queríamos y tuvimos la ambición de salir a buscar el partido diferente, pero bueno, así es el fútbol. Entonces tienes que cambiar el chip inmediatamente, hacer como si no pasa nada, pero intento pues transmitirles a los compañeros que algo así es normal que pase en el fútbol. La idea es cómo lo afrontes, ese es el objetivo, de cómo afrontes esos momentos para poder darle transición rápida y positiva.
So yeah, obviously it did feel like a bucket of water thrown on you, kind of a shock to concede that early after they had been working so hard, and he thought they did well throughout the week to kind of focus on keeping the ball. But that he just kind of has to rally around the team, kind of let them know that there's a lot of time left to kind of just rally around that.
Ahora, desde 2018 no había un jugador que había anotado un hat-trick y el último que fue Kraylock, también como capitán. Ahora tú como capitán lo vuelves a hacer. ¿Nos puedes describir un poco de las emociones que sientes en este momento o cómo te sientes que estás haciendo historia aquí ahora con este club también?
It's been since 2018 that an RSL player has gotten a hat trick. It was last Krylok as captain, so now you as captain. What emotions do you feel having scored one?
Bueno, es un orgullo para mí poder hacer un hat-trick acá en el RSL. Para eso trabajo, para momentos como este. Yo sé que Dios premia a los trabajadores, a los que hacen las cosas bien y no le hacen daño a nadie. Entonces intento mantenerme enfocado y yo creo que no hubiera sido posible sin mis compañeros y todo el cuerpo técnico. Y también agradecer a mi familia que siempre está ahí, a mis padres también que siempre tienen una voz de aliento para mí. Entonces muy contento.
It's an honor to score a hat trick for RSL. That's what he works for. He says that God rewards good, hardworking people that don't wish bad on others. And so he also wants to just thank his family and his friends for all the support that they've put into him, but it wouldn't have been possible without his teammates. Andy, on Zoom.
Thank you, Chicho, mi hermano, un saludo. Pregunta, ¿te acuerdas del último triplete? Y quería saber más allá del mes que cerraron de buena manera, un mes positivo que demuestra el equipo en lo que sigue pues en la temporada. Todavía está muy temprano, pero que demuestra cerrar un mes muy positivo como fue este.
Do you remember your last hat trick, but also how does it feel to close out a successful month for RSL and yourself?
Sí, yo creo que fue con Dallas, si no me equivoco, el último hat-trick. Y bueno, yo pienso que estoy muy enfocado en lo que queremos para el resto del campeonato. Nos queda un año muy largo donde vamos a estar enfocados, vamos a trabajar fuertemente para poder lograr los objetivos que nos vamos a trazar durante el año. Y yo creo que si trabajamos con ese ámbito que tenemos, entonces vamos a conseguir cosas lindas.
He doesn't quite remember. Dallas kind of comes to mind with the last hat trick. But he says it's a long year ahead and that he's obviously happy to close out another successful month, but that they have to stay focused and work hard to achieve the things that they want to achieve this year.
Move on to English. Go ahead, Tyler.
En español, ¿está bien? Ok, gracias. Felicidades. Y Roman Berkey le pido la camisa, ¿no?
Bueno, sí, un gran jugador. Creo que tiene mucha empatía. Vino a felicitarme. No es fácil estar de portero y poder felicitar a alguien que te anota. Yo creo que eso demuestra lo gran persona que es y lo merecido que tuvo el año pasado como el mejor portero de la liga. Entonces yo creo que es muy lindo saber que cuentas con personas así, que te felicitan y tienen buena empatía.
So the question was, Roman Berkey asked you for your shirt, and Chicho responded that yes, that it takes a lot of courage to kind of come up to someone after a game and congratulate them after they've scored against you, but that just kind of shows you the type of person that Berkey is, and that it's obviously well-deserved after he was goalkeeper of the year last year for MLS.
Anyone else for Chicho? Go ahead, Brett.
Congratulations on the victory. Do you like playing against teams that are as physical and pressing as St. Louis seems to be?
¿Te gusta jugar contra los equipos que son tan físicos y con alta presión como St. Louis?
Bueno, me gusta, sí. Son grandes jugadores que son fuertes. Me gusta porque eso saca el ímpetu y las ganas que tiene uno por dentro, el saber que tienes una defensa y jugadores tan buenos que defienden bien. pero yo creo que me gustó mucho lo que hizo el equipo hoy, de poder cambiar de una manera tan positiva en el segundo tiempo y tener esa energía hacia salir adelante y bueno, gracias a Dios se pudo ganar.
So he did like playing against them, that playing against great players with great strength is always fun, but that he's very proud of how his team came out in the second half to kind of rough it out and get the win at the end of the night.
And with the new system, you're learning the new system this season. Where do you feel the team is at so far? What percentage are you? 50% there, and what do you expect in the future for this season in this new system?
So como están aprendiendo el nuevo sistema, como qué porcentaje usted piensa que están ahorita?
Bueno, yo creo que el nuevo sistema que implementamos en el partido pasado y nos da una ímpetu de un poco más de ataque. Sé lo que es jugar de 9, entonces intento que en este caso Julio no se sienta tan solo, entonces le genero espacios para que no se sienta tan solos, llego al área para que él no se sienta tan solo, entonces eso es lo que intento también, que mis compañeros también puedan brillar. El caso del partido pasado, Barajas y Julio también tuvieron un gran partido, entonces esto es de equipo, esto es gracias a mis compañeros que pudieron hacer el trabajo de ellos para yo poder anotar hoy 3 goles y estoy muy feliz.
So the new system kind of gives him more leeway in the attack, and that he knows how it is to play as a 9 for Julio, that he tries to be up there and support him, get into the box so he doesn't feel alone, but that also allows other players to kind of shine more, for example, Barajas and Julio that had a really good game against Vancouver, but he's just happy that everyone kind of did their part to be able to get the win tonight.
Anyone else in the room? Anyone over Zoom? Oh, Carson, go ahead.
Congratulations on the hat trick, Chicho. What was your mindset going into this game after drawing St. Louis last time out?
En tu hat trick, ¿qué eran tus pensamientos y tu actitud entrando al partido como la vez pasada empataron con St. Louis?
Bueno, pienso que el partido pasado ya lo habíamos dejado atrás, sabíamos que este iba a ser un partido complicado, que ellos son un gran equipo, que teníamos que enfocarnos en nosotros. En el primer tiempo, obviamente, se ve un partido muy cerrado porque ahí no actúa el cansancio, entonces en el segundo tiempo sabíamos que en algún momento se iban a generar algunos espacios que los teníamos que aprovechar y bueno, gracias a Dios los aprovechamos y logramos ganar el partido.
So they had already forgotten about the last match. It's in the past for them, but they knew that coming into this game it was going to be a complicated physical battle. They knew that in the first half there wasn't as many spaces just because there wasn't as many tired legs, but they knew going into the second half there was going to be spaces due to tired legs that they were going to have to take advantage of, and he thinks they did that with the 3 goals.
Gracias. Perfect. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations on the win. After you guys went down early, obviously you've been able to come back. Like last week on the road, you came back, but at home it hasn't been as favorable for you guys. What was different about tonight that allowed you guys to kind of break the mold and get such a statement kind of win?
Yeah, no, I think again I go back to that Colorado game where we were down, and instead of fixing things as a collective, we try to do it as individuals. Positionally, we were out of whack. And so we've really spent the last few weeks just talking about structure and talking about how important it is. It doesn't matter what time of the game it is, we want to play a certain way. And obviously when there's 10 minutes left in the game and you're up 2 goals, you know, again, the players have to feel the moments, but again, I think it really goes back to that. And, you know, and after games now, it's really interesting because oftentimes coaches, and I've done this my career, is I'll speak after every game. And we're changing tradition a little bit, is that the players speak after we win. Because it's really important for them to hear each other's voice as to what they did to get the result we got. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones on the field managing the moments. And I thought they did a fantastic job tonight of staying the course. There was times, you know, where, you know, even when we were down, we didn't just lump balls. You know, we sucked them out. We stuck to the game plan. And so, again, credit to the guys for really performing well, competing well, and the way they fight for each other is something that you can't manufacture, right? It's a real group of guys that really enjoy spending time with each other at the training ground, away from the ground, and it just feels like a really good group.
And then it seemed like things started to open up quite a bit when you brought on Diego and Andreas there in the second half. What did they bring specifically in the attack? And I guess coming off of national team trips as well, was their confidence just feeling pretty good tonight? Yeah,
no, I think, you know, both of them arrived midweek, 7 time zones away, and so again, where we are in the season and the way the guys played in Vancouver, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to give them a bit of a break to come into a game and see it from a different perspective. I thought they both brought great energy. I think, you know, positionally they were both really, really good. Defensively, they both contributed in moments. I think with younger players, oftentimes the toughest thing for them to learn, and it only comes with experience, is how to manage games the right way. And both of them took on great defensive positions when we were up to, 2 goals, which is a big growth, you know, because again, you're not always going to start games, right? And so do you understand how to manage moments that are really important for the group? And both those guys did a great job tonight.
Pablo, it'd be really easy to talk right now about Chicho and his hat trick, and maybe we'll get to that plenty. But I want to focus on the 2 passes that set up his 2 run-of-play goals from Catranas and then from Diego. It seems like it was a play where, like, one person on the field kind of saw sort of the opening that he had or the type of shot he could make or something like that. Where does that chemistry come from between Luna and Catranas and Chicho in particular?
Yeah, you know, I think one of the things that, you know, we do every week is we really focus in on all the phases of play. And so that final third, given that Chicho was playing more of a 10, you know, and the reason why we want our 9 to stretch is because usually one forward will take 2 center backs with them, and then there's soft space in between. And so that pass from our wing back, whether it's the right or left, whether it's, you know, Bodie or Catranas, that space is always available. And so, but the difficult thing is, it's one thing to be available, it's another thing to execute the pass with the right type of pace and put it in a position where you can secure it and get a shot off. And so, again, these guys are fantastic players, and in order to score goals, you have to make plays, right? You can't draw up a goal. You need individual talent to put the ball in the back of the net. And I think everyone that contributed on the goals showed their quality tonight. And obviously Chicho scoring 3, you know, hopefully that opens the floodgates moving forward.
You touched on it a little bit, but with when you guys went down early, 2 or 3 minutes in, whatever it was, and Chicho mentioned it as well, how there was nobody really hanging their head, like, plenty of time kind of a mentality, comeback type of mentality. Is that mentality that you talk? I guess I'm using the word too, but yeah, is that mentality that you're talking about with this
game? It is, and I think where life is more important than words is that we experienced it last weekend. And so we came in at halftime and said, listen, we went through this in Colorado where we were down a goal and everyone lost their way. I said, you got to trust the structure, you got to trust your teammates to get you the ball in dangerous areas, and then the guys up front just need to execute. And so it was good to have a dress rehearsal last week to then go back this week. And again, the guys after the game said the same things. Right? We stayed the course. We didn't panic. It didn't matter how much time we had. We weren't going to deviate from a game plan. And so again, it's easy from a coaching perspective to say that. It's another thing to feel the pressure of the game and want to break and do your own thing, but to stay the course. And so again, a fantastic mentality and resilient mindset from the guys.
Pablo, can you just comment on how happy you were to get a penalty after about 19 months?
I couldn't believe it, DJ. As a matter of fact, I thought they were going to take it back because I was like, this can't be real. It's been that long since we've had a PK, but again, I think and the reason why we want to put balls in dangerous areas in the box because those things happen. And again, credit to the guys on that play. I think it was Emeka and Andreas really combined well. Deep into their box to force their players to slide, two players to kind of not know where the ball is. So it was a long time coming.
Obviously, the team was dangerous before the subs and then lethal after them. How much of that was the subs, and how much did you think it was conditioning and altitude and the ability to run late in the game?
Yeah, I think it's all of that. It's impossible to put your finger on it. Again, I think what you want from players coming into games is to inject some energy into the group. And I thought all the guys that came in did a really, really good job of that. And the other part is, it felt to me like in the first half they were trying to take the air out of the game. And oftentimes what happens is when you do that and then you concede, there's not really a foundation to build from an attacking perspective because you spent so long trying to preserve the lead. And so for us, it's really put your foot on the gas mentality, but do it in a very constructive, collective way. And so again, with all these games, we're learning about ourselves. We want to be a better version of ourselves every game, and I think in the last two games, the guys have really done that.
With the international call-ups and the injuries, you've had to use different combinations of players and maybe not exactly where you visualize using a player. How much does this give you thought about what the team could look like going forward when you want to change a game with subs?
Yeah, it's obviously that's definitely a silver lining when you're down a few players, and even Bodie tonight played a really good game, and obviously it's not the position that he's been playing, but I think he brings he brings his athleticism, he brings his technique. He got into the dangerous areas quite a few times, in particular in the first half. And so just knowing that when Andres leaves next time, we'll have a good idea as to how we're going to go. And then Chicho in the 10 or Chicho up front, the most important part about that is just getting Chicho the ball in dangerous areas, and he'll take care of the rest. But it does give us a bit of, flexibility with the way we go moving forward, especially when the season becomes a little bit more congested. We'll be able to kind of have a better idea as to how we're going to go.
Pablo, congratulations on the victory. Going along with that last question from David James, we've seen Chicho start underneath Julio the last couple of games. Is that a new wrinkle, or is that a form of necessity?
No, I think I didn't want to dismiss the Vancouver game. The guys played a fantastic game, and just to say, we got everyone back, let's change it. I feel like it's playing God with the culture of the group. If these guys played so great on the road and we got our first road victory of the year, let's run it back. Let's give these guys an opportunity, because again, when you're talking about competition, that's a big part of not stifling competition, right? We want the guys coming back from international duty to raise the bar, not to just come back to as they were. And so I think that was a big part of it. Obviously, Ando got nicked up today, so we'll see where he's at. But again, I think we feel comfortable putting Chicho up front as a 9, and putting Crooks, Diego, Fidel in the 10. And unfortunately, Fidel took a knock in the middle of the week because again, if he was available, he would have started tonight.
Do you enjoy playing against physical pressing teams like St. Louis? And is there a little bit of a budding rivalry here with these teams?
I love playing against it because it's really simple. In that, if you don't match their fight, if you don't win second balls, it goes back to like the most basic aspects of football. If you don't win those battles, you have no chance against these guys. And the team that we want to be is a team that can compete physically with anyone, but then have a bit of sophistication on the ball and dictate how we're going to break teams down. And tonight, I thought we did that. And again, when we were in St. Louis, we had a great game against them as well, and I felt like we won that physical battle as well. Because I think it's one thing to be just a sophisticated team on the ball, but if you don't have that desire to win second balls, if you're not running that midfield, if you're not winning, 50-50s, then depending on the day, you win or lose. I think if you bring that every game, you put yourself in a great position to get results week in and week out.
We're going to go over to Zoom. Andy, go ahead.
Thanks, Delma. Hey, Pablo. Chicho's hat trick was the first for RSL since Krylak in 2018. I just wanted to know your but he was just actually in here talking about he was happy about scoring, which he always is, but he was more happy about the mentality the team showed. Just wanted to know your mindset on him just making those strides and having that impactful performance, and also it coming against one of the best goalkeepers in MLS.
Yeah, no, again, I think Chicho's quality really shined through tonight. I think, and oftentimes I say this to attacking players, is when you commit to the defensive side of the ball, the soccer gods reward you with some great, attacking opportunities. And I think he took them. The first goal that he scored is world class. Right, from a tough angle, he hits a real heavy ball against a really good goalkeeper, and it puts a smile on my face to hear about the mentality, and he said that because I think he's the driving force in everything we do with this group. He's the mental monster during training. He sets the tone on both sides of the ball, and I'm just so happy for him to have the game that he had, because it then represents the rest of the group, and there's a locker room there that will do anything for Chicho. And so when he plays like he did tonight and how he has been playing, I think we're on the cusp of being a really tough team to play against.
Carson, go ahead.
You already weighed in a little bit on the guys going on international duty and coming back. What is the decision in the staff room for those guys coming back and not getting the start?
Again, the one thing is that I believe in everything I say, right? So when I say we're a team, if people go away, and again, if we were in the playoffs and these guys were coming back, it'd be a different story, right? I think given where we are in the season, with the team playing as well as they did against Vancouver, it gives other players an opportunity to step up and continue to raise the bar for everyone else. And I think that's what a team is. It's not relying on any individual. It's knowing that we're going to have injuries, knowing that we're going to have international duties. And when we have when we get to that point, I don't want to sit here in front of you and ever make an excuse about not having our players. And the only way to do that is to stay true to what you believe as a coach, as a staff, and that's that the team always comes first. And so this case was, the guys come over on Wednesday and Thursday after 20 some odd hours of travel, and then just putting them into the group when they played extremely well. And so if we're going to be successful this year, we're going to have to do it with all hands on deck. There's going to be a lot of midweek games, and this was a great opportunity to give the guys who played really well against Vancouver an opportunity again.
Anyone else for Pablo? Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Pablo.
Yep, that's it.
All right, that would do it. Thanks, guys.
The team is off until Tuesday.
Thank you.
Happy Easter, Carson.